Ethiopia first established ties with the British colonial administration in the East Africa Protectorate in 1907. The border between the two countries was still being defined. That was only formally demarcated in the early 1950s and amended again in 1970 after Kenya had gained its independence. In 1954, Ethiopia established an honorary consulate general in Kenya. On the military front, ties have also been strong. During Ethiopia's occupation by Italy, Ethiopian forces operated in British Kenyan territory. Kenyan freedom fighters, the Mau Mau, also operated in Ethiopia during the group's struggle for independence. Today, Kenyan and Ethiopian troops are both stationed in Somalia to help battle the Al-Shabaab militant group. In terms of trade and development, both countries are members of the IGAD bloc. Ethiopia is landlocked, so relies on Kenya for much of its imports. In 2012, the two countries signed a special status agreement. That means both operate representative offices in each other's territory to facilitate trade and information sharing. The two countries have also invested in cross-border infrastructure. That includes the Addis Ababa-Nairobi Road project launched in 2012. Various ongoing infrastructure projects include an oil pipeline running between Kenya's Lamu port and the Ethiopian capital. Susan Mwongeli, CGTN.
Well, let's get you some more analysis on this. I'm joined in the studio by Dr. Hassan Kanenji. He is the director of the International Institute for Strategic Studies here in Kenya. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Kanenji.
Thanks for having me.
How significant would you say this visit is by Ethiopia's new Prime Minister and the meetings with President Uhuru Kenyatta?
This visit comes at a particularly important time, especially when Kenya itself is focusing more on the strengthening inter-African ties. But it also speaks to the special status agreement that Ethiopia signed with Kenya about 2 years ago, 3 years ago actually, that emphasized the importance of deepening relations regionally and just increasing and improving bilateral relations that have existed since independence.
So they're hoping to bolster this
Exactly, yeah, it just goes to emphasize that point.
Let's talk about security, as we've heard that there have been inter-ethnic violence on the border, and I believe 9 people died last night. We're talking about Somalia and South Sudan. How closely is Kenya and Ethiopia working on addressing these regional issues?
As two frontier states to both Somalia and South Sudan, Kenya and Ethiopia tends to shoulder most of the burden, whether it comes of refugees or just as playing a central role in the peace processes both in Somalia and in Sudan. We all remember that Ethiopia went into Somalia in 2006, much more of the same reason that Kenya actually went there in 2011, to prevent the state collapse and try to establish regional peace and a framework that can allow a lot more peaceful engagement within the region.
Okay, let's now talk about the economy.
Yes.
We know Kenya and Ethiopia have close trade ties. Do you expect them to grow, and in which areas?
Much of what was actually contained in 2014 Special Status Agreement focused on trade. Now, Kenya stands to profit immensely, especially from the Great Renaissance Dam currently under completion in Ethiopia, especially in the area of Lapset. Or rather of the energy sector, but also the Lapset project. For it to be realized and to realize the fruits for Kenya itself, Kenya needs the market of 100 million Ethiopians for it to succeed. But also Ethiopia being essentially a landlocked country, it needs Kenya in so many ways now. Ethiopia regionally is the biggest country in terms of population. Kenya is the biggest country in terms of economics. These two countries need each other and to work very closely if they are to maximize the benefits of intra-African trade.
Let's talk a little bit more about the dam, the significance of that for Kenya.
This country has been facing power shortages, anyone who has lived in this region for a while, even though it's been improving increasingly. Now, the current Great Renaissance Dam in Ethiopia promises to provide power not just for Ethiopians, but also for the region. And Kenya significantly stands to benefit by lower tariffs and lower energy costs, which are critical for industrialization for both countries, actually. So this is something that Kenya should be looking forward and other countries in the region should be looking forward as well.
So you see this relationship, this trade relationship growing then significantly between Ethiopia and Kenya?
Yeah, exactly. This is something that is likely to spur a lot of economic growth, but also increase the level of business between Kenya and Ethiopia, which historically, even though they are neighbors, we've not been doing enough business as we should be doing. I think there's something that's going to change.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Kanji, the Director of the International Institute for Strategic Studies here in Kenya. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.